City Park CEO Cara Lambright out after only 3 years on the job. The official story publicly, she's stepping down to take a job with another park in San Antonio. Some say she was forced out, essentially fired. I think that's the story. I think a few months ago, City Park folks said at the end of your contract, we're not renewing, or we're going to terminate your contract short and buy you out or whatever, but you're not here for the long term. And I think Cara Lambright's ambitious 20-year, $200 million master plan for the park, the general idea was good. The initial implementation, the planning stages were ready, fire, aim. Ready, fire, aim. No, just shooting from the hip, not thinking about repercussions. Thank goodness I was following that story. They sent out a map of the potential $200 million redo, which included a road that parallels Marconi, but within the park. It also included a wooded island, which I thought was a great idea. The problem I saw right away was the wooded island and the road took out about 9 of the 18 holes of essentially a brand new 7-year-old $30 million golf course. $30 million golf course. No, this was ready, fire, aim. You know, I'm thinking to myself, this thing's 7 years old. If City Park had a $30 million building that was fully occupied, that was working and generated money, paid for itself and generated money for the park, they're going to tear that down for a road or a wooded island? I don't think so. Same thing, $30 million golf course. Plus, there's some caveats to the story. That course was built with the PGA Tour in mind, the Zurich Classic, the potentially to move the tournament from the TPC on the West Bank to City Park. They would do a phase 2 to the South Course, 5, 8, 10 million bucks, and get it PGA Tour ready. It's already a championship course. Zurich invested in it. The PGA Tour invested in it. 4 Kids Foundation invested in it. 30 plus million bucks, about 10 million of it coming from these folks. So besides a potential future spot for the PGA Tour, you have outside interests that invested over a third of the money into this course, north of 10 million of the 30 million to build it. They didn't give 10 plus million to see their course torn up in 7 short years. They figured that course would be there indefinitely, maybe upgraded, and even the home for the PGA Tour stop eventually. Was City Park going to come up with 10 million to pay those folks back and rip up the course? So I brought this to the public's attention. Some folks I know in the community that have influence made their point known to City Park folks. Next thing you know, they're canceling the public meeting, all that. Now, ironically, the news media, they pounced on the Grodad Farms because that's got more sizzle. They weren't even thinking about the golf course, didn't look at the map like I did. I knew Grodad Farms was in there, but if anything, Grodad Farms could be moved. A golf course can't be moved. Grodad Farms was even saying, we've cultivated this soil for 10 years. Finally got it growing stuff quickly, correctly, properly, the way we want. High quality yield, great crops, because the soil's right. If we move, we're losing that 10 years of soil. I hear you, that's legitimate. But it's the inner city kids, it's the minority thing. That's what got the juice going. That's what, got the grease on the squeaky wheel. That's what got the main reason why the 20-year, $200 million master plan went kaput. Grodad Farms. I'm pro Grodad Farms. I think it's a great idea. I love what they do. That farm could be moved very easily. I don't want to see it moved. I agree with what they say about the soil. I want them to stay where they are. But the real thing that should have been the mover, 90+% of it was Grodad Farms. 90+% of it should have been the $30 million 7-year-old golf course. It's crazy. But I'll take a victory however you take it. Lots of ways to skin the cat. If Grodad's going to get the ball moved in the right direction, I'm all for Grodad. And I am for Grodad. But the real thing, the real stopper should have been, guys, we have a golf course that's barely 7 years old and it costs $30 million. The PGA may move their tournament here. We've been doing that since 1934, originally here at City Park. And that golf course, by the way, had about 10 plus million of the 30 coming from outside sources that expected this golf course to be here indefinitely. So unless you guys can write a check to those folks, I don't think you can tear down the course, rip up the course. Cara Lambright, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back or the beginning of the end. This 20-year, $200 million plan that I think is great. That's what real cities do. We invested a lot of money in City Park, making it world-class, first-class since Katrina, the last 20 years. Bob Becker and his crew bringing the park back. It's fantastic. It is a great park. Put City Park, Audubon Park up against any park in the country. They're fantastic. Like I said, world-class, first class. To come back so quickly and go, hey, we got a 20-year into the future, $200 million master plan for the park. I'm all for it. That's what cities that are growing, that do things right, first class do. They keep upgrading and moving forward. So I was all for the macro of Cara Lambright's plan. Maybe you needed an outsider like her to come in with that idea. But then the ready, fire, aim approach, rip up the golf course, Grodad Farm, just shooting from the hip. No, that's probably why she was forced out, I think. Basically fired.